Hey guys, this is Stephanie and I'm Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Today I'm coming to you with a TBR announcement video. I'm going to be participating in the Tome Affinity and Beyond readathon. It starts next week, so I kind of waited till the last minute to do this TBR announcement video. Sorry about that, guys. I've been a little bit busy. It is 2 weeks long, starting on September 7th, going to September 21st. The whole point is to read sci-fi books. So I really liked this whole concept. I thought it was great and fun, and I was excited to participate. Now, this is being hosted by Brushing Bookends, Sarcasm and Sci-Fi, Brews and Reviews, Novelty Corner, the Restricted Section, Game of Tomes, and Don't Have a Degree in Reading. I will try and link all of their stuff down below so you can check out their channels too. I follow about half of them, and by the end of this, I'm sure I'll be following all of them. Now, you gotta follow me on the rules here because it's a little complicated, but you'll get it by the time I'm done, I promise. So the first thing I did is I Googled what exactly is a sci-fi book. And I know that sounds silly, but I just want to make sure I'm reading within the realm of what we're supposed to be reading. And according to Google, it said that a sci-fi book is anything with an alternate future, outer space, or having to do with technology, which is actually a pretty wide blanket of things. So that means any dystopian book, that's going to be sci-fi. Any sort of post-apocalyptic book, that's going to be sci-fi. Time travel, that's going to be sci-fi. So it really opened up the doors a lot. And I was like, you know what? I bet I read a lot of sci-fi. And I have, which did surprise me. Then I got on Goodreads and I clicked on the sci-fi button and I just started scrolling through, and I was shocked at the books that I have read that are considered sci-fi because I love time travel books. So I was very pleased with that. But then I was also seeing all of these books that I want to read that are sci-fi. So I just started writing them all down, and then I looked at the challenges and I fit those books into the challenges, and voila, I have a reading list. Now the problem is I have a reading list of like 17 books and you only have to read 4. So I'm probably not going to read all 17, but I might read more than those 4 because I really like the concept and I think it's super fun. So we have some challenges, and they even gave us this map, which I'm going to show you guys because it's incredible. I'll also link it down below. So basically you have to leave Earth, which is like there-ish, and you have 4 different ways to get off Earth, which means 4 different like categories of books you could read to get off Earth. And then you have to go and plot your trip. You have to go to at least 3 planets. You can land on your 3rd one, that one you can stay on, but you have to try 3 at least, or the sun is an option as well. I just think this is the cutest thing in the world. So I love the map. I like maps in general, but I love the map. So basically, the Earth is going to be exploding in 2 weeks, so you have 2 weeks to get off. So you start your mission, you have 4 options or 4 ships that you can get off of Earth on. So you have to start with one of these options. The first one is Ship A. You're in for a long haul. Read a book that is over 500 pages. Ship B, Mars is waiting to be reached. Read a book set on Mars. Ship C, a short jump to a neighboring planet. Read a book of short stories. Or D, oops, you hit an asteroid belt. Read an author that is new to you. So I have a few options of what I could do, but I'm going to tell you what my plan A is on all of these, and I'll talk about the other books briefly. I'm planning to read Time Ships by Stephen Baxter. This is actually like a sanctioned sequel to The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And I'm really excited to read this one. My brother-in-law loaned it to me. It is a hard to find book. It is not a popular book. It's not a book you've heard about, but I have high expectations for it. Basically, it takes the time travel aspect into outer space, and I think that sounds fantastic. It is over 500 pages. It is 515 pages. So it will get me off on Ship A, and this is my intention. If for some reason I'm having a hard time getting through this book or it's not grabbing my attention, I have a backup plan. And that would actually be Silo by Hugh Howey. I know this isn't Silo. I don't own Silo physically. I have it on Audible though. It is still over 500 pages, so it would also qualify for Ship A. And it is the 2nd book in the Wool series, and I don't talk about sequels, so you'd have to read the 1st one, then we'll talk about the 2nd one. My other option is Ship D, which would be Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I have never read this book. I've never read anything by Michael Crichton, so I need to read something by Michael Crichton, in addition to which I need to read this book. So Jurassic Park, I think most of you guys know what it's about, so we're not going to talk about it because it's a backup plan. So for the planets, we have themes for those as well. The sun, solar flares. Read a book featuring a solar-based a solar-based event. I don't have any of those on my list. Mercury is a small planet. Read a book that is under 250 pages. And for that, I have Antimorphous Visser by K.A. Applegate. And this is a middle grade book about, I think, aliens. And I got it in a book box and I put it on my TBR because it actually sounded interesting. I don't remember exactly what it's about, but I do want to read it. And it'll work for Mercury, and it's on my list of 4 books. So yay. Next we have Venus Favors the Bold. Read a book with a bold female main character. Now I have 4 books for this one, but none of the 4 are on my list of books I'm planning on reading, so I'll go through them quickly. The first one is going to be Wayfarer by Alexander Bracken. This is the sequel to Passenger, which I just read last month, and I want to read this one, so if I'm in the mood for it, I might switch it out. You never know with me. But this does have a strong female lead. It is a time travel-esque book with a girl who didn't know she could time travel. She finds out in the first book that she can time travel, and then you'd have to read the first book to know what's going on. Second book is Never Fade, also by Alexander Bracken, which is the sequel to The Darkest Minds, which I read a few months ago. And again, sequel to a book, so we're not going to talk about it too much. I also would like to read Kindred by Octavia Butler. Now, this is a book that involves time travel with a woman who is Black, and she travels back in time to when her ancestors were slaves, and she's trying to help them, and she gets stuck. So that one sounds pretty great too. I have that one also on Audible, so I could listen to it, or I could read These Broken Stars, which is a book by Megan Spooner and Amy Kaufman, which I bought because it's beautiful. I'm so shallow. I don't know what this is about, but I do know it takes place in outer space, and I do know it has a strong female lead. Next we have Mars, Martian Invasion. Read a book featuring aliens. For this one, I have Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which I have started a few times and have never gotten through, but I'm guaranteed it's going to be great. So this is on my list of 4 books that I'm definitely going to read, unless I just can't get through it, but I was told just persevere, you'll get through it. I don't know exactly what it's about. It's about outer space, people are on a planet and it gets blown up, but they get taken off of it, and it has multiple perspectives, and then it's kind of like, oh, that's not good. It's kind of written in like notes and computers and memos, stuff like that. So that's a really cool way to have a book, but outside of that, I don't really know what it's about. I also was considering reading A Closed and Common Orbit, which is a sequel to A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. And this follows different characters in the first book. I don't really know which characters, I don't really know what's going on, but I like the first book, so I anticipate liking the second. Asteroid Belt, an iconic flight obstacle. Read a space opera adventure. Now, I don't know what a space opera adventure is, so I actually don't have any books picked for this one. Oh well. Jupiter is the gas giant. Read a book featuring giants. And I actually have 2 for this one. The first one is Shadows in Flight by Orson Scott Card. This is the 5th book, I believe, in the Bean series by Orson Scott Card. It is the only one that I haven't read in the series, and it's really short, so it's definitely an option, one I might read. Being the 6th book, I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm also considering Sleeping Giants by Sylvia. I can't remember, but I'll put a picture here. And this is one that has giants in it. That much I know. I don't know a lot else, but I know I want to read it. Then we have Saturn. Space put a ring on it. Read a book with circles on the cover. I did have a few books with circles on the covers, but they actually fell under other planets, so I don't really have one for this. Uranus. Read a book featuring some comic relief. And for this one, I chose The Martian by Andy Weir because I haven't read this book. I've seen the movie, I think twice. I haven't read the book. This will be my ending planet. I am choosing to end my life and live on Uranus forever. Basically, because I just like saying Uranus. Yes, you guys, I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy. My nephew and I, we get along. This is a book about a guy named Mark Watney who gets stuck on Mars, and they think he's dead, and then he's not, and he has to like survive on Mars. That's about what it's about, and it's supposed to be funny. The movie was pretty funny, so I imagine the book will be funny. So that's the last book that's on my Definite 4 list, which Definite 4 just might change. You never know with me. Neptune, like the god or the planet, read a science fiction with fantasy themes or vice versa. And for this one, I'm going to go with Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This does have fantasy themes to it, but it also is considered a sci-fi book. I believe it's like everybody has, a bunch of people have superpowers, but they use it for evil and not good. I think that's the premise of it. Don't know a lot, but it does sound pretty good. So this is definitely on my plan B list. Actually, I would say all the other books are on my plan B list, to be serious. And Pluto, planet or not, read a vintage sci-fi book, which means it's 25 years old or more. And the first one I have is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Now this would actually, ooh, that's white. There you go. This would actually be a reread. I read it my freshman year in high school, I think. And this falls under the technology thing of sci-fi. It was written in like the 60s, maybe? I don't even know anymore. Nobody knows. That's the thing. It was written in 59. It was written in 1959, and basically it's about a guy who developmentally delayed, and they find a way to basically make him smarter and function, but then they run the tests on a little mousy mouse called Algernon, and then they find out it's not what they thought. So it's more the technology kind of sci-fi, but it is good. I'd like to reread it. The next one I have is A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. I believe this one was written in 1960, and it's one that I started, got a third of the way through, set it down, watched the movie, and then just didn't pick it back up again. This is a book that follows some kids whose father disappeared because he was trying to work with a manipulation of time, and then they get some women in there, Mrs. What, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Y, and they kind of help the kids see what is actually going on around them. Definitely sci-fi. And the last one I have is Handmaid's Tale, and this is by Margaret Atwood. There's a really popular Hulu series, which I haven't seen. I am holding out to read the book first. Basically, it's kind of a, not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but more dystopian future where certain women are picked to have babies, something like that, and then it's really cruel and terrible, and our world could be coming to this, and it's that kind of thing. So I don't know exactly what it's about, but it's a book I've wanted to read for a while, so I should do that. Now it says, you must find your new home before it's too late. End of challenge transmission. Which is pretty cool, the way they have it. I'm gonna link all that stuff down below. You guys can click on it. You can look at the map, you can look at the challenges, you can qualify what you're gonna read and what you're gonna do. If you do put up a TBR video, be sure to put it on Brushing Bookends page, like copy the link in one of their things because they wanna know. I wanna know too if you're gonna be doing this with me because it's so creative and it's so fun, it's so different. It's not like any other readathon I've done, so I'm soups excited about this. So please comment down below if you're gonna participate or if you're like, I can only read one book. Pick a great one and go with it. If you've read any of these, please let me know down below if any of them are stinkers or if it's like, why haven't you read this? Read this one first, yo. I can also do that. But please leave a comment. I love your guys' comments. They are so great and I totally appreciate them. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and don't forget about me. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays and you can find me here then. And I will look forward to seeing you guys soon. Tome Affinity and beyond.